Hello and welcome to another episode of Make Love Real, How to Create More Love in Your Life. I'm Mia Saenz, and in this episode with me is Amy Turner. Now I have to say that, and you guys know I love to share about people that I really care about. I love this woman. She teaches self-love. She's a therapist with no BS therapy, but she's a coach. So she really has it all going on. And what I love about her is the energy in which she breaks things up for you is really powerful. So let's welcome Amy. Welcome, Amy.
Thank you, Mia. That's such a great introduction. So good to be here.
I'm glad you're here. Would you like to share with the audience a little bit about yourself, since I don't read bios? We were just talking about that.
Right. Yeah, no, that's fine. So like you shared, I am a licensed marriage and family therapist, and I realized that, I just can't get the clients the results that they want. Just come see me every 2 weeks for therapy for years, and found hypnotherapy as a complete skeptic, didn't think it would work anyways, ended up completely being turned around. Now that's all I do with my clients is we do like a in-depth 2-hour session, really get to the heart of the matter, and then help clients get results so much quicker than being a therapist. So I have switched from being a therapist. I keep my license for credibility, but I am more of like the hypnotherapist coach now.
I love that. And her work is amazing. I actually used her this year in 2000 or last year in 2018. Remarkable. So, and I don't normally say that about people because I don't use a lot of people because I do my own work. But Amy was just unbelievable. So we had a huge shift for me. Most people knew that my mom had passed. So there were just other things too. It was really beautiful. So you're going to talk today about why being selfish is really self-love. So let's hear about this.
Yeah, so I've had so many clients where they were brought up from their parents being told never be selfish, it's not good, think of others. And the thing is it's like that can be really damaging because you're so busy taking care of everyone else and thinking what everyone else wants. You can become a chameleon. I've been a people pleaser myself, and I've worked with a ton of people pleasers because it's like we grow up thinking, well, we don't have an identity. We're just here to serve. We're just here to like be who we can for other people and not be selfish at all. But instead it ends up hurting ourselves because we don't know how to love ourselves, because we don't know who we are. We don't know what our identity is. And we're so busy forming into who we think the person around us at that time wants us to be. And so it's really important. That's what I've learned on my journey, is to be completely selfish in what it is that you want, to ask for it. And that's how you truly do learn how to have that self-love.
I love that. I love that. I love that. Growing up, I was always told, my sister apparently was very selfish when actually she's the one that turned me on to self-love. That term was thrown around. So when I read that, I was like, wow, that's really interesting, because I used to always say it's not selfish to love yourself, but people still identify it because you're taking a stand for principle for yourself. They still identify that as being selfish. You want to talk a little bit about how you can shift their concept just in a sentence? I know you can. Even further.
Yeah. So how to shift it is, it's like, so when, especially in our families or whatever, we think like, oh, you don't want to be selfish. Like, I know for me growing up, it's like with my other cousins and my sister, it's like, I know I was taught a lot with toys, like, oh, you can't be selfish, you have to share everything. And so we get that concept put in our minds at such a young age. And so we think like, oh, okay, if I'm not constantly giving what I'm using at the time, like a toy, or if I'm not constantly thinking of others, then I'm a bad person. And so we think that we have to take care of everyone else around us, but instead we're not taking care of ourselves, and we're not able to really get that respect from other people. Because that's what I'm realizing in my own journey, Mia, is that when I'm actually choosing me and asking for what I want, doesn't mean I'm going to get it, but at least I'm asking for it, that people respect me more than me being, oh, okay, what do you want? And how do I think they want me to respond? And
Mm-hmm.
so I think that was a big paragraph to what you just asked for, a small thing.
No,
But
it was perfect.
yeah, I
It is
think the thing
perfect.
is it's like, see being selfish as demanding respect, as having that respect, because when you show up as asking for what you want, people are going to respect you.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting because I still don't see that as selfish, but I mean, I love that. Maybe that's because that's my not mindset from when I was young, partially, but also as an adult to make it so that I could understand it, integrate it into my system, right? Because I didn't want to be selfish at all because you got in trouble if you were selfish. So, but I love that because it really is important for us to value and take those boundary steps and put that out there because we've all, until we learn how to do that, have been treated or mistreated by somebody that we've loved, right? Because we didn't have the boundaries up because we didn't know better or something tricked us or confused us. So I love the fact that you brought that into play because it's a very powerful piece, right?
Oh yeah, it's so powerful. It's night and day
Mm-hmm.
of, because a lot of people don't think of being selfish as getting respect. They think of
Yeah.
being selfish as narcissistic and egotistical, and
Mm-hmm.
you're only thinking about yourself, and people can put you in that category way over on this side, when instead it's more like you're in the middle. And I know that you can think of, and everyone who's watching, you can
Mm-hmm.
think of celebrities or people out there that you know that they demand respect, that they're
Mm-hmm.
not narcissistic, they're not
Mm-hmm.
egotistical, but they have that presence about them where they have those boundaries and they demand that respect, and that's because they're being selfish in asking for what they want.
And there's two ways of operating your selfishness. There's the loving way, right? And demanding it. And then there's a rude way. And Amy is not talking about the rude way at all.
No, 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 not at all. And that's a good distinction too, because you can be rude about it, and you can, like, and that's the other thing too. When I say demand respect, it's also like, you're not like, hey, I demand you to respect me. You're not so aggressive about it. It's more of the energy and the way you hold yourself. And so that's the difference between being selfish and being that like aggressive selfish,
Mm-hmm.
where it's more like the entitlement piece. I'm not talking about entitled at all. I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking about
Yes.
just asking for what you want and knowing that your opinion matters and what you have to say matters and what you want matters. That's the difference.
Your opinion matters. I love that. Because as you said, as women particularly, we service others, right? We're just taught that. There are those who haven't been taught that, but for the majority, women take care of everybody else. And so we lose ourselves in that taking care of. And how you broke it down is beautiful because that way of looking at it, even if it's considered selfish, it's in a sense of love for oneself rather than that egotistical way.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the true self-love, is that respect for yourself, and
Mhm.
it's okay to share what you're feeling, what you're thinking, what your opinions are.
Now, we learn that from our birth and growing up. That's what sets our mindset and the ways about us because of being influenced by everything around us. You want to talk a little bit about that? Because sometimes people get confused that they can shift and change that area into being empowered, right? Because all they can hear is, you have to take care of somebody else, you have to step up, you have to do this. And really, it's about taking care of themselves first.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and that's the thing too. It's like all, and I'm sure you've all heard of this over and over and over again because so many people are preaching it, but those limiting beliefs are formed between the ages of 0 and 8 years old as we are kids. And so we grow up with these limiting beliefs. And so if you have this belief that you're selfish and it's not good to be selfish, then that's how you can easily turn into a people pleaser,
Mhm.
or a rescuer, which is the same concept. I mean, that's what happened to me. Is it's like I didn't think that my opinion mattered. I didn't think anyone cared. It was kind of like I just had to do what I was taught to be. I was supposed to be this robot. And and that's what formed around me. Is it's like, oh, no one, and I didn't know this. I didn't go through life thinking no one cares about me, no one wants to know about me. It was just more like, I need people to like me. I need people to
Mhm.
like me. So I need to figure out, like I was always kind of like watching people and like observing people and
Mhm.
seeing, okay, what do they like? What do they not like? So then I can get people to like me. Because when you grow up thinking that you're selfish, then you're thinking that, well, I'm a bad person if I'm putting my needs first. So what does everyone else need? And that's where we get it wrong. And that's why it's important to realize that no, it's not selfish for that. Like, yeah, maybe you learn that at a young age, but hopefully what our parents were trying to do is get us to think of others but also think of ourselves. And but a lot of times in our brain, it's not done developing until we're 25 years old. And
Mhm.
so we can think that, oh, we're a bad person if we're not thinking of others. And then it's like we go from one extreme to the next. You're either
Mhm.
always thinking about yourself or you're always thinking about others. And what I like to do is help people see that no, you can blend them, you can do
Mhm.
both. And I will say that it does need to be skewed more on you thinking of you and what you want. And then that's where compromise can come in. But the
Mhm.
main thing is it's like your opinions, your beliefs, your wants come first, and then you can compromise.
Mhm. You know what's interesting, because we're talking about adolescence and the brain and relationships and connection. I just have to say this. I'm 56 years old, and this summer or this fall was the first time I told my children, no, I come first.
Whoa.
Because for me, they were my babies, right? They were from me. They were my life, my love. And as I've developed, because I was codependent, I was a people pleaser because I was always pushed down and made to by my mother. So to get along, right, I did that. So the thing that was so fabulous was I stood in that space and it felt amazing. And they respected it. And everything changed. Everything changed. And so we're never too old or too young to learn and to shift, right? We have these beautiful spaces where we can just blossom all the time. And that's what life should be like, shouldn't it?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Mia, I love that so much because it's so true. We're never too old or too young to
Yeah.
do it. And the thing is, it's like so many people, exactly what you shared. For me too, being codependent, being a rescuer, being a people pleaser, so scared to say no because it's not necessarily the saying of the no. It's what are they going to think afterwards and
Mhm.
how am I going to feel? And I'm going to feel
Mhm.
guilty.
Yeah.
So the fact that you were able to do that and that it went better than you thought, because that's the thing, our head tells us, our ego tells us all the bad things that can happen. That's why we don't do it. But when we do it, we realize, hey, it's not as bad as we thought. Or if it is, we get over it. Like,
Right.
it's not going to stay with you the rest of your life. You learn from it, you move on.
Yeah. I'm still reflecting on, move on, Mia. I'm still reflecting on the toy thing because that's just such a powerful experience. I haven't thought about it as a child, how we raise our children, how we were raised to share, and maybe they don't want to share something that is so special to them and they shouldn't have to. And that's where I just had a realization in life on love that is really powerful, Amy. Of course, I learned a lot from Amy, but that's really powerful because that is just that to me. I know it may seem simple to someone else, but that's mind blowing because I suppose I still somewhere in my mindset, if I was a mother starting all over again, I might have said, "Oh, wait a minute, she really wants to be with her toy. She doesn't have to share that one." But I haven't had that experience. So that experience was just revealed just now. It's trippy. It's amazing.
I love
It's
that because I
beautiful.
had no idea I was even going to go there. And as I was sharing,
Yeah.
why is this coming through?
Yeah. And
But it's
also,
powerful.
yeah, and also how you were saying about how we connect to people and want to please them so badly that we're not taking care of ourselves. I think it's really important because I've had a relationship like that with a man, in my life, and I know others have had that too. Would you talk about that? Because that was the most debilitating experience for me. And it was awesome too, right? But in the end, when I let it go, I grew like a flower. But I'd love you to share that with people just because it's beautiful transformation.
Yes, yes.
Not
It's
my experience, but the whole concept.
right, right. You want me to share your story?
No.
Yeah. So the thing with that is it's like going back to being selfish, if we're told we're being selfish for thinking of ourselves, then we're going to be so busy making sure everyone around us is happy. Therefore, we can get into a relationship with a taker.
Mhm,
Because if we're not actually showing up in our identity and who we are, then we're going to attract takers in the world because we're so giving. People
mhm,
and men or whoever your partner is, the takers are going to show up. They're going to, whether it's consciously or unconsciously, they're going to get that energy from you and know that, hey, this is someone that I can take from. This is someone that can take care of me, whatever happened
mhm,
to them in their life. And so the thing about being a people pleaser, codependent, rescuer, selfish, like whatever you want to call it, the thing about that is that what's going on deep is it's like we so badly want to be given to, but we don't believe
loved.
that we can. And so we're so badly giving,
Mm,
hoping that someone's going to give to us. And the
mhm,
thing is it's like if you're so badly giving, you're only going to attract takers in your life until you begin to respect yourself and you begin to demand, like, hey, like I have needs here, I have opinions. And in a relationship, when that happens, that could be when like the honeymoon falls off,
mhm,
or the partner in the relationship that is that giver is so fed up because they've been giving and they haven't gotten back, and it builds up resentment and so fired up that finally either the veil is lifted from their eyes and they see what's in front of them, or there's many different circumstances. I believe that if we're supposed to learn a lesson, that the universe will create drama in our lives for us to
mhm.
have to see it if we're not willing
I
to do the
agree.
work ourselves. So that's what can happen is it's like you finally see, I'm so sick of giving. And then you learn some way of how to ask for what you want or to share your opinion. And the takers in your life don't like that because
Mhm,
they no longer get to be takers. And
mm,
so that's when the relationship can end. And that's what you're saying, me, is it's like
mhm,
you can blossom into this flower because it's finally like, I'm so sick of giving, I'm ready to find out who I
mm,
am and what I want and share that with the world.
mhm. And that space of transformation is so great that you develop a whole new relationship with yourself.
Oh,
Yeah,
completely.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
night and day, like 180. Like the person I am today is completely different than who I ever thought I was.
yeah. Me too. And that's kind of cool, isn't it? It's a very beautiful experience. So we want you to be selfish people.
Yeah, be selfish.
Selfish in love. Exactly. Okay, this has been really very cool and very inspiring to me to see a little bit differently, right? In an area in which, and selfishly, guys, I have to say that because that's really amazing for me to see something different that, I normally wouldn't see. So I hope you guys all enjoyed that aspect too. Now, Amy, share with us, time is just flying. Share with us your free gift.
Yeah, so I love doing, like I said, I came from being a therapist to a hypnotherapist. I love working with energy. So my free gift is it's about 20 minutes. The first 8 minutes is explaining what to do. And then the next 12 minutes is actually eyes closed, little like meditation, guided meditation, where I help you. So my business is no BS therapy. So I use a lot of like BS. So it's
Mhm.
find that BS limiting belief in your body. So you actually go and find it in your body. And I guide you to talk back and forth with it to see what it's doing, what it wants from you. And I guide you to release it out. And
Mm,
I've had so many people do this and they're so
amazing.
thankful and they've gotten huge realizations, huge insight, huge epiphanies just from doing that. So that's what I'm giving you.
That's really beautiful. Thank you. I love that. And what would you like to share with us from your heart, your mind,
Hmm.
before we leave?
I think it's just like I'm so passionate right now, Mia, because we've been talking about it. And so, like, the biggest thing is like, go be selfish. It's okay. Like, go figure out who you are and what you want and go tell your partner or your friend. Like, if that's not something that you normally do, go ask for what you want and just
Mhm.
see what happens. And I bet you will be so surprised and things will line up to support you because that's what we're supposed to do is really figure out who we are and what we want.
I love that. That's really granting people the space to live their life the way they want to live it, right?
Exactly.
It's beautiful. Wow, I just love spending time with you. You are amazing.
Oh,
This was
yeah.
really beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you so much. This was so fun.
It was. And thank you all for watching another episode of Make Love Real: How to Create More Love in Your Life.